To learn to live the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Click the bell notification. It's all free. So it's kind of a cold, wet, dreary, cloudy day here. I'm not making much electricity. So this morning I had to run the generator. I usually do that when it rains. So today we're just kind of huddled out in the tiny house, running the wood stove. It's a little too warm for the wood stove, but I'm going to get into that here in a minute. One of the things I wanted to suggest when you are living off grid, you got to take care of the chickens and the animals, or even a homestead, is make sure you get one of these ponchos. It's miserable having to get up at 6:30 in the morning or 5:30 or whenever daybreak comes out, run down, let the chickens out, and it's pouring down rain. Oh, it's terrible. I hate getting up in the morning and having to run out in the rain. So get one of those. You can get those off Amazon. I mean, everybody always asks me, where'd you get it? I don't sponsor products. It's just, get yourself a poncho, read the reviews. I used to have another one. It was a lot heavier. It was made by Bass Pro, but this one's a real thin material. I like this one a lot better. The other day I was showing you that we had to vacuum seal a bunch of flour, sugar, rice. Well, 3 of the packages came unsealed somehow or another, so we repackaged those. I guess that happens. I mean, it wasn't bad as much as we had. We probably had 200 pounds. I don't know that much. Maybe 150 pounds of sugar and rice and flour. So I'm going to go back inside here because it's a little chilly out here. I do wear a sweatshirt normally, but I've been taking it off when I come into the house. So we'll let the light adjust a bit here. So the other day I made a video where I was talking about the wood stove and how it operates. And of course it wasn't running at the time because the wood stove heats up. And these fire bricks in here stay warm forever. They'll stay warm 2-3 hours. So you let the fire die down, the house stays warm all day long. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this video. I sure would appreciate it if you'd watch that video. It tells the algorithm that you like this video. And so they'll promote both videos more. I've had a lot of success with that, and I wanted to thank you if you've been clicking that video at the end. It sure has helped out a lot. I really do appreciate it. Something I learned from living on a dime to grow rich. She taught me that. Today I wanted to show you how this stove is working. I have put 3 logs in here and it's lasted several hours now. Of course the first 2 logs burned up pretty quick. They were smaller logs. I've been learning quite a bit about this stove. So what I've been learning is the firewood in the front burns first, and then the firewood in the back burns last, which makes sense because the air intake is right here at the front. It shoots out right there in the center. So I actually learned that if you want to build a hotter fire, run your logs, what is that, north and south, I think is what they call that. If you want to burn a slower fire, run them east and west like that. Right now I kind of got it going north, west, south, east, whatever. That log actually rolled off into the glass, so I pushed it back, and then you're not supposed to open the door after it's up and going, but I did. But this fire is burning perfectly. The other day I was explaining to you that you don't want to actually see the log on fire. You want to see a coal bed like you see right here. What you want to see is this dancing blue flame. And I don't know how well that shows up onto the camera, but you want to see that dancing blue flame. What it is, those air tubes at the top. Again, at that video that I played the other day, I was able to get in there with the camera and show you everything. But those air tubes at the top, what it does is it burns the smoke. What you're seeing, that flame in the back, that's not really the log burning. That smoke coming off the log, catching on fire, that's where all the energy comes from. And a lot of people lose that energy out through the chimney. Now, I can show you the chimney here real quick. I'll go back outside. We can look at the chimney and you'll see there's really no smoke coming off of it. Maybe a little bit, but I think that's more like a gases coming off. But yep, no, you don't see any smoke coming out of there. Oh, maybe just a little. I saw a little poof there. But usually you see this huge steam engine thing like they did in the old trains, but you don't see that here. It's just every now and then just a little poof. And what I suspect that is I think this stove is like 75% efficient. It means it burns 75% of everything that goes into it. So you still got that 25% of waste. This isn't the most efficient wood stove you can buy. You can buy much more expensive wood stoves, and they have a catalytic converter in the chimney and the air tubes. So when you get your stove going, you put this dry firewood in here. Yeah, you get it down to 20% or less. This is 15%. I've got the knob all the way out right now just to demonstrate the blue flames, but I'll push that in. The flames will die off. Every now and then you'll see this little puff of blue flame. That's that smoke coming up. Of course, I had the knob out here to demonstrate the blue flame. So the stove was probably a little higher than it was a few minutes ago. But in this little tiny house, we're able to keep the stove, the wood stove, just basically the same temperature as an oven in a house. There it is, 324 degrees is what the stove, 320 degrees is what the stove is producing. So, I mean, think about it, your oven runs about 350. So I've been thinking about this. If I can keep this temperature right around a cooking stove, a cooking oven, this place is going to be toasty all year round. Last year, it got a lot hotter. We were at 450s. Sometimes it was terribly hot in here. And I explained to you in that other video, that's because we had wet firewood. And we had to keep it so hot so it would burn the water. Of course, we got creosote in the chimney. Creosote's very dangerous. It'll catch on fire, and then you have this chimney fire, and you got to put it out. Well, I actually think we did have a little fire. I heard it when I opened the door one time. I shut the door and it went out. If I'm not mistaken, we started this stove in December last year. We moved in the house in January, but Carolyn was doing all the pallet wood on the walls, if you remember that, if you've been around that long. And so I come up here and keep the stove going for her. So December, we had quite a bit of dry firewood still in December, but by January we were completely out of dry firewood. So all that creosote built up in the chimney. And by March, we had to clean out the chimney. Got so clogged up that every time you open the door, smoke would just roll out of the fireplace. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to go up into the chimney. But there was such a constriction that it had no place to go. It was quite dirty. Now that creosote is a tarry looking substance. What it is that smoke combined with the water and the wood, and it's just real tacky. I got some on the bottom of my shoe and I dragged it in the house. It took us a week to get the floors clean after I did that. It drips down onto the roof of the house, and so you got this tarry substance. Now through the summer, all that has washed off, but there was actually tar, I don't know what it was kind of a blue looking thing on the chimney outside. So this year we shouldn't have that kind of problem. I've actually heard people say you shouldn't have to clean your stove more than once a year, your chimney. I've actually heard other people say they never clean it because they got dry firewood. So I'm really hopeful that we'll have a lot of luck with the chimney this year. I don't want to have to shut it down, but if I have to shut it down this year, at least I got the Mr. Heater portable buddy sitting outside. I can bring that in. We can let this cool down enough so I can clean the chimney one day. Perhaps I can let it die down overnight. I can start the buddy heater, let it run through the night, and by the time I get up in the morning, I can jump up there and I clean out the chimney. Now, I really expected that we would be out of this firewood in here. I brought this in, I don't know, back in September. I thought by the end of October this would be gone, but I probably haven't used 10 logs off this. I started up in the morning at 5:30. I didn't today. I started a little late. That's a whole different conversation. I didn't know if Carolyn wanted it on today. And when she got up, she said, I'm a little chilly. So we started this up. And I throw about 2 logs in each time I started up. I just let the coals heat the house for the rest of the day. And so by noon, the coals start to die down. Well, then you still have the fire brick keeping the house warm. This fan will keep running. This is a eco fan. It runs off heat somehow or another. By 3 o'clock, that'll finally shut off. So I've started the wood stove at 5:30 in the morning, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, nearly 10 hours later, that fan shuts off. So, I mean, 10 hours on 2 logs, that's incredible. Now, of course, in the winter, when it gets really cold, I may have to, of course, use more firewood. Hopefully not a lot more. Let's say instead of 2 logs in a 10-hour period, let's say we call it 4 logs. I don't know, we'll see. One of the things that I got a lot of criticism for when I started this off-grid thing, we left the nomadic lifestyle, we came to live here. I said that we could live off 1.5 acres, cutting down firewood, 3 trees a year, 1 cord a year. Oh, no way can you do that. No way can you do that. No way you can do that. Of course, they're all thinking about their grandma and grandpa's wood stove, their big uninsulated houses. Well, here we have this little wood stove Very efficient, 75%. You gotta remember, in 2014, they basically outlawed all wood stoves. The manufacturers had to come up with a way to meet the new federal requirements. And it was ridiculously low requirements. I don't know, 5 parts per million or something of smoke that was allowed to come out of this chimney. So everybody had to redesign this. And I was talking to Carolyn, I think about these things. Carolyn's the type of person, well, I'm glad it works. I'm the type of person, I wonder how they made that work. I said to Carolyn, I wonder who the genius was that invented this. Did he do it by engineering it, or did he do it by trial and error? She said, he might have used the candle trick. You can blow out a candle and then light the smoke. That's exactly what this thing does. It's lighting the smoke. So you might have used the candle as an inspiration to build this wood stove. So these things have gotten a ton more efficient. So my goal is 1 cord of firewood a year. That's basically 3 trees, 30 foot tall, including the branches and all that. Someone actually did the math and said I was wrong. 30-foot log, it's 14 inches in diameter, doesn't equal a cord of firewood, but he didn't take into consideration the branches. So, but that's the average. The other thing I can do is 3 truckloads is a cord of wood for me. I've already measured that out. But I will tell you, this is just the best thing to me. I don't understand why I like this so much. I was raised this way. I thought when I grew up, turned 18, went in the military, became a big business guy and the whole thing, that's the life I wanted. I wanted away from this stuff. But it was nothing but stress. And so I came back to my roots. Right here somewhere, you're gonna see a little icon. I think it's actually right there. You'll click that, you go to the next video. I sure would appreciate that. It helps the algorithm know that you like this video. I hope I can inspire you to live your dreams. Thanks for watching.